the World Team Championship that was just finished last week, and it was quite an interesting one, with Ukraine pretty much looking like they're gonna win it. Like after 5 rounds, they had 5 wins, a point and a half. I mean, basically, not point and a half. Like, yeah, if it was a normal tournament, they had 5 out of 5, and everyone else at 3.5, or 2 other teams at 3.5. So really huge lead, 4 rounds to go. But okay, they had to play Russia and Armenia in round number 8 and 9. So those are basically teams number 2 and 3, pretty much. But they already had this incident on round 6 when they played Netherlands. And you know, it's just interesting that I was thinking before the match with Netherlands, I was saying, well, can Ukraine lose to the Dutch team? It was somewhat amazing that I was thinking about that. I said, okay, you know, look, they are smashing everyone, but let's see really the level. Like, okay, Giri play with Ivanchuk. Okay, they're about the same strength and same level. Okay, Van Velde, he's almost 2700. He's like, okay, Korbov is maybe a bit better. I mean, by rating-wise, tiny difference, 27, 10, 20. Okay, he knocked out Nakamura from the World Cup, but okay, he's a strong player. Van Velde has been there forever. Okay, tiny in the Ukrainian favor. Then the next board, yeah, Sokolov played against Krivoruchko. And okay, again, tiny bit the Ukrainian player's favor, and the same on the last board, Lamy played against, I don't even remember, Arnshenko or something like that. Okay, so tiny difference, but that was the big, most important game that decided the tournament. Ukraine lost 2.5, 1.5. Yeah, big eyes, right? I mean, you know, I was thinking exactly like you, Rob. Like, wow, I mean, okay, they won 5 games, they beat China, they beat United States. Like, okay, but when you really break it down, you see that it's just like one game or something tiny that makes the difference between a team being 5 on 5, or maybe they could have been on 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, maybe something. And fair and square, they kind of lost. I mean, okay, it was really not correct or okay. I think Korbov actually lost to Van Velde with white pieces, like such a strong, solid player. That was a bit not okay. Yeah, that was really a bit not okay. And well, the rest were draws. So this was the big crack in Ukrainian. They lost to Netherlands. Then they won one game. Actually, their games against, I think, Egypt and Turkey was so close. No, it was crazy. I think like in round 7, I don't remember exactly which one, they kind of barely won, or the positions at some point they were worse. But then they lost to the Russian team, and Russia just won everything. So Ukraine, that had 5 out of 5, lost to the Dutch team, lost to Russia, finished with 7 out of 9, 7 wins, 2 losses, and Russia had 7 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. And actually, who did the Russian team lost? This is our game. The big, huge loss to the US, but amazing that they didn't break, and United States, that won such a big game, had okay performance. I mean, I wouldn't say more than okay. They finished 4th with even tiny bit luck. They finished 4th. Okay, let's see the game the match that seems incredibly promising for the American after it, beating the Russian. And you know, it's many people say, and that's correct, that it's many times, you know, you look at your leader. If the first board is in a great performance in Olympiads, it carries even technically, emotionally, the entire team behind you. It just carries the entire team behind you. When Ukraine won the Olympiad, Ivanchuk was like one of the best performances in history. Amazing play. Aronian many times when the Armenian team. You go back, you see Kasparov and Karpov, like just not so much with Kramnik. Like, I don't remember many Olympiad that Kramnik really pulled the Russian team. And that's really important. Like, you see your top man, most likely best in the world or second, on fire. somehow it motivates everyone. And well, Kramnik didn't have a great tournament. The problem is the Russians are not that bad. So they played this Nimzo classical line, and they went to the main line in the Nimzo. Very, very favorite or popular line by Kasparov in the early 90s, the Queen C2. I mean, other lines that are very popular. Okay, E3 is of course the main line. F3, very likable line by Shirov. This F3 to control the E4 square. Knight F3, Queen C2, E3, even A3 being played. But okay, Queen C2 is basically white doesn't want to get his pawn structure destroyed. And his big idea is basically to play with the two bishops, very, very long game, just enjoying the two bishops. On the other hand, he is a little bit behind in development. I mean, black already castled. It's going to take white 4 more moves at best to castle. B6 used to be considered absolutely the main line. There are some other lines with D6, Knight D7, E5, or ideas to provoke play E5. B6 is very logical, right? That's where we put the bishop. But in recent theory, this line D5 has become extremely popular. Extremely popular, this idea of D5. Well, what is the idea of D5? Well, black wants to play in the center as quickly as possible. What should we be doing when the opponent is behind in development? Well, make effort to open the position as quickly as possible. Same in every sport, right? That's why they have fast break in basketball and so on. So this is the idea. And there are some complicated lines, like for example, if take, the most accurate move is first to play this. Yeah, and then some big lines, like too much theory. But this is being played by everyone. Like, I mean, white and black, you will find everyone. Like, especially Kramnik. Okay, you find him here, but he's played it against Anand, Carlsen other side, Anand, Aaron, everyone. Like seriously, this is incredible line. Knight F3, take. And now which idea can we consider for black? Well, this piece is obviously very, very problematic one, right? This piece. And B6 is very logical, right? Just to get the piece on that diagonal. Very, very logical idea. Playing bishop A6. So if white just plays simple E3, well, I'm just going to attack it. Bishop G5. Bishop A6. And now I have here several of the most recent games in this line. And you will see, I mean, pretty much the same names are repeating again and again and again, but they're not really bad names. Okay, for example, Mamederov against Kramnik from Tal Memorial this year, June 2013. Queen D7 was played. As quickly as possible, C5 and Rook C8. Take, Queen E4. Sacrificing the rook, the B2 pawn, and so on. The game was obviously a draw, right? Because those crazy positions always lead to a draw. Only the quiet positions actually are decisive. The crazy ones, everyone find defenses. Let's see some others. Let's see Anand against Kramnik. Bishop G5. This is from 2011. Kramnik played Bishop B7. Rook C1, C5. Take. H6. Bishop D5. Knight BD7. and exchange sacrifice. And everything was prepared by Kramnik. I remember this game, I think he was playing really fast. So here you go. Down an exchange, but it's going to take quite a few moves to develop. And knight b3, rook c8 is coming. Anand kinda, I like this term by Yermolinsky, bailed out. That's how Yermo says, bail out. So e3, knight b3, and Anand played this move with a draw. Well, they just exchange everything. Okay, I have many questions about those lines. Why did he give the exchange? Why didn't he move the rook? But, you know, for now let's accept it that they know what they are doing. It was actually this move that is very, very surprising by Nakamura. I mean, I think this is somewhat of a novelty. There are very few games that this was played, and by top players, not really. I mean, I don't have anyone above, one player above 2,500 that has played it in July this year. The game continued 8-6, like Kramnik played, and then this how the game continued. The game was a draw. Nakamura took and played g3. Yeah, because okay, the thing is with this bishop is that this pawn cannot really go ahead, right? Cannot really advance. Okay. Which move should black consider here? You're missing your knight after that move.
Okay. Oh, the queen's there. I gotta clear out the knight.
I should make the board bigger.
Your eyes were bigger than mine on that one.
You know, in the kids class, I had a kid. He was like saying, like, I mean, I don't know, like something like bishop e4. Like, dude, like, should we get you to an eye test? Like, seriously, like repeatedly, like diagonals mixing. You know, you definitely don't want him, you know, like to be a sniper. You know, don't take him there. C5. Why C5?
Because if not, the queen will take it.
Well, but the queen could have taken it before. I can take it now.
Right.
But I didn't. Not only me, you know, you can say, hey, Ronen, you don't see anything. You didn't take it because you don't see. But Hikaru didn't take it. Well, why didn't Hikaru take it? Because I think that this is known that those things are extremely comfortable for black. Rook c8, the rook comes there, and it's just a pawn for a second. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But you're right, c5 was played. And usually I like to tell, great, you played like Kramnik, but it was a big mistake. But actually, this is a decent move. No, because sometimes I ask my, what there was played is this move. Excellent, you just played, but it's blundered the game. No, but c5 is a good move. Or he first played bishop b7. Actually, you played better than him. He played c5 now. It is the best move to play c5 immediately, either right now or on the next move. Why? Actually, this is not very good play by Kramnik. No, you play better. This is not. And why is that? Because he got into a position. He got into a position that is slightly better for white. Well, maybe not so many slightly, just a bit better for white. Not so comfortable for black. And some great technical players like Anderson, players that were playing the Catalan, right? We mentioned the Catalan here. Karpov, they won several games, like very, very much in this style. Bishop b7 is right, and now, okay, if we have to believe, you know, something, then let's believe Houdini. He's saying c5 is immediately equal. But it's actually interesting, and knight a6 not so accurate. But actually interesting, why is this equal? This is the big part. Okay, take. Now, interesting, I will ask you, okay, so what black should play? And you will tell me, what do you mean? I mean, of course, take the pawn. But take the pawn might not be 100% equal. It might not be 100% equal, because there is a great game, between Karpov and Kasparov in the World Championship, I think in 84, in the first match, that Karpov won very similar position like this, where black pawn is tiny weaker than white. I mean, maybe, you know, maybe after it we will just take 5 minutes and just show this incredible game. But actually the move that I would prefer is either rook c8 or knight d7, for example. And then, okay, if black will get to capture this way, it's clearly going to be way better, right? Just because white's going to have such horrible pawns. And if white take, I remember I had a game like this. I don't think it's on ChessBase, but it was in the Israeli League. I don't think it was sent to ChessBase. Basically, those two pawns, the open files and black knight that can come very quickly, gives black complete equal. At least according, if you don't believe me, ask Houdini or, you know, maybe Kramnik in his next game. But this is basically those, white will not be able to hold all those pawns. Even if he plays king d2, black can, there's actually a cool idea to get the rook like this, but also just develop the knight really quickly. The weaknesses, white can hold for them a little bit, but he will not be able to keep them. So computer is already at quite deep thinking and showing after rook c8, 0, 0, 0. Actually, it shows after bishop c5 extremely close to equal. Because it's tiny bit different version than Karpov-Kasparov, which we will show after. So this is interesting because Kramnik is usually incredibly prepared. Like, I mean, there is, forever he's been one of the top players being prepared in the world. I wonder which move took him mostly by surprise. I mean, okay, queen c3, you can already see that he spent, I would say, about 10 minutes here, tiny less. Usually he plays faster, and he thought for 17, 18 minutes about this move. That's a lot. You know, there's some of the games that I've shown you, one game that he sacrificed an exchange against Anand, and it's usually Kramnik comes and plays those really, really fast. So yeah, and another 4 minutes on knight a6, where c5 is the right move. So what did they get here? I mean, this is really amazing. When you see Nakamura, that everyone is saying, oh, he's a bullet player, he's a blitz player, he's tactics, tricky, whatever you want to name him. When you see him beating Kramnik in that style, maybe there is some change in the world. So why is white a bit better here? Let's see. Why would white be a bit better in this position?
Which knight's better placed?
Knight, okay, what else? Yeah, but what do you mean? Black spawns? Yeah, that's probably the thing. I would say more specifically, I think the D square is really important, and even more, the C file white might get a hold of it, and it's always more important to control the C file in those positions than the D file. Yeah, I mean, those positions are very, very typical coming from the Catalan, right? We kept mentioning it. Well, white is a bit better here. I mean, okay, you know, computers, amazing, right? I mean, I have it running here, and he's saying comfortably 0-4 for white. And Kramnik played like really not okay way here. And actually, it's really interesting how the game continued. Computer is suggesting like rook c to d8, just to keep both rooks and then get the knight in the game. Of course, if we will exchange the knight, it's a draw. Knight c5 is wrong. Really, this is not an okay game by Kramnik, I think, in many aspects. And here, really, really interesting what was played. I mean, we all see this threat, right? And probably Nakamura sees this threat faster than anyone that we can imagine. But it was interesting. I was analyzing this game, for our blog. And I remember that at this moment, I was like asking questions without no computer, nothing. Just say, I want, okay, so here, 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 here. Okay, no checkmate, don't have to take, like, you know, like you analyze it with a beginner, you said, oh, black is losing because of this. Like the concept of, okay, I'm going here is not there. But this is really interesting. When you know, one in a billion that I feel that I understood the position better than Kramnik, I will sit here and shine. Like I was looking at this position and I thought, well, black should be okay because there is play against white's king. Of course, I wouldn't like to play any side in this position. And maybe it's somewhat easier for white, maybe. But the king is going to be under attack by black's queen quite comfortably. You know, it's actually incredible. I mean, I haven't analyzed it extremely deeply with computer. I mean, I went few moves deep, but not extremely. But my feeling was that black is okay. Remember, we said here there are two elements when a queen is fighting two rooks that will decide how the position will be. What are those elements? When a queen is fighting two rooks, two important factors are that we should look at the position. One, if there are any weaknesses of the pawns, really weak pawns. Pawns are not extremely weak. The second one, if the king are weak. Well, white king is not really weak, but black can harass and bother it. That's the most important thing. And like, okay, after the move f4, what should black be playing? '92, but '92. I don't like 92, but now I have to prove why it's not working. Maybe not so easy. You know, if I play this move,
Yeah.
what? No,
Sure, yeah.
but there's a problem with this move, tiny bit. But maybe not big enough problem. Okay, I'll play there. There's tiny problem with this move. Well, what should black play here? If you play for black correct here, you know, we did something today. Which move for black? One move, if not actually they resign.
I'm the kind of guy who sacrifices that knight.
But it's the only move because we said it 2 minutes ago. You have to play against the king. If you're not playing against the king, forget about it. And now white is going to be messed up a bit. I think he has to kind of go back.
I was right.
Why not?
Wow.
All righty. And e5, and okay, it's not that those pawns are going to be queen. It's just that there'll be easy perpetuals, an easy way to bother the king, sorry. That's very important. The queen has to target the opponent king. If the opponent king is totally safe, totally, and he has 2 rooks for the queen, no pawns, not like 2 rooks for the queen, each one has 5 pawns, and the one with the 2 rooks totally safe king. No, the game is over. The queen is lost because the 2 rooks will create a battery somewhere and take, and they will win the game. So the queen has to have a pawn or 2 pawns to battle 2 rooks many times. But actually knight takes c2 is losing on the spot, computer, not me, playing this move. I wanted to go here, but then I was thinking this and the queen comes in and annoy. But that's why computers say first to play this move, and that's kind of winning. For example, if such lines, maybe, and now there are no sacrifices, no stories. So we'll take back and not knight take e2, but move for black. This is a good move of queen versus rooks. We have to activate the queen. How should we activate the queen? One move. Yeah, this was pretty much what I was looking quite quickly. So I said this, and then I said, so Kramnik, you don't understand this? Okay, good. But yeah, this is actually really bizarre. Because, okay, joking, no joking. I mean, of course, you know, it's number 4 player in the world right now, but, you know, we don't need to give his bio and his resume of Kramnik, right? But all in all, I'm not certain what he was thinking, and we can analyze it a bit more. Maybe there was some line much deeper that bothered him. Like, okay, in this position, the computer is suggesting some lines like this and gives white some advantage. Maybe, but my feeling is that, okay, look, he was thinking here for 4 minutes, right? I mean, I think he was thinking about this, no? But still, I don't know. To me, maybe he was afraid to take this decision, or maybe he thought that he's just going to have an easy draw here. But not so much with this knight. No, not so much with this knight. With this knight, you're not gonna make an easy draw with this knight. Yeah. Okay. Rook back to f8 and f4. Now this position is, I mean, I really wonder what Kramnik was thinking, because, okay, this position seems really tough. I mean, computers say only, I don't know, 0.7. So quite big advantage, almost 3/4 of a point, as opposed to the other position, which is unclear. But there are only 2 results that you play here. And they are not very pleasant for black. Maybe draw, maybe no. Okay, now we play queen f5. Rook here, here, here. Take, take, knight c1. Okay, amazingly enough, computer says when we went deeper, like, okay, half a point for white. Not more, which is actually interesting. I mean, it looked optically so powerful for white, but absolutely not clear where white could have really said, now I'm much better. Okay. Actually, in this position, Nakamura went to the 7th rank, but he went to his 7th rank. Computers say go to the opponent. But this is quite an easy move, I mean logical, because basically he's saying, dude, your knight stays here. I don't want to give you a pawn, don't want to give you anything. Rook c8, h4. h4, tiny bit mystery move, to me at least. But, you know, that's why I'm here presenting to you, and you want to guess what is Houdini's best move? h4. Now, why h4 is best move?
Just to prevent g5? No.
No, not about g5. I think he wants h5. And sometimes this will be a very, very, very pretty outpost for the knight. Or if the rook goes up in some versions and you play check, no escaping square, right? You can start looking at some checkmate patterns. I think, okay, you know, this Kramnik doesn't want to be checkmated. Played h5. b5. This I understand. No, I want to put the knight here. This I understand. Rook c7. Knight c6. Yes, somewhere here I think the position deteriorated. Okay, we are not going to analyze it super deep for a few reasons. One, we got the conclusion of the game. Two, it's going to be boring. Right? I mean, I analyzed long ago some games for chess base and some things. Or I did a lot of commentary for ICC. And I said, you know, I'm doing it's great fun. And I say it as honestly as possible. Okay, this is just too boring. You go analyze it yourself. Okay, I'm being honest. Like especially in my opening survey when we go to some lines. So I'm being honest. But of course it is white that's better. And let's look at the decisive moment of the game. Okay, dancing around left, right. But joking, no joking. Suddenly this is a big target. Maybe this a5 played by Kramnik was not the best. Yeah, I see Bob is like with his eyes, like what is going on here? But maybe this is what Kramnik missed. That now if the rook moves knight take e6 deciding the game. Okay, now yes, big mystery face. Black looked worse all day long, but maybe not at all. But now we need to calculate perfectly what's happening here. And while you do that, I will see if I can find the Karpov-Kasparov game that we mentioned. You want to take, no? No? Okay, but what now?
Well, your knight has to catch up to that.
Oh no, so how?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Don't tell me stories, tell me moves.
He can't.
He can't? That's how easily you're selling Icaro? You know, I always like to say it like, you know, in the army, one of the biggest slogans is, there is no you can, there is no, like you cannot, you don't want to. You don't want to, right?
Yes, Exactly.
I remember, you know, like you see someone like dying, barely moving, like, you know, he needs to run another 3,000 miles, well, kilometers. I'm from Israel. So there is, dude, he's like about to die. No, I'm like, that. So this is like when people tell me, well, the knight cannot do that. Well, you better go and see what a sergeant can make this knight do. But he can, right? This move. Ah, well, what? You know, Kasparov once said it's the best line in his game against Karpov. They played, and Kasparov won with black. Very famous game from Linares '93, where Karpov pieces all with white pieces got in the back rank, and it was after the game. I actually analyzed a bit by Anand, so not bad company this game, and he said that. They asked Kasparov after the game, they told him, you know, Karpov said that he missed this idea, this and this, or it was rumored that he missed this idea. Kasparov said, what does he want me to resign? Like basically he's saying, dude, if I cannot play that, like what do you want? The same here, but here it's really extreme. In the other position it was just getting a worse position. I mean, if white doesn't have knight c5, what do you want him to play? Nothing, right?
Yeah.
But after knight c5, resign, but for black.
Check. Check.
The thing is that Hikaru just ignored this. There are no entry points, only one, c5, and the king caught with the pawn. So really not extremely impressive game by Kramnik. I mean, okay, Hikaru did what he had, but I think that I'll put it this way, when Kramnik is losing such games, it's really not his style, you know, it's like, no, he's not losing those games, you know. This is the player that didn't lose a game in a match against Kasparov, and really, really strong player.